Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary show that answers the question, if you just show up at the beginning and end of the season, can you still win? Subscribe if you're new to the channel, because today we are reviewing the Great British Baking Show Collection 11, Episode 9, Patisserie Week.
Fuck yeah.
Patisserie.
I was hoping to watch this again before we recorded, and I didn't get a chance. It's like, okay. I'm looking at it, I don't even remember most of their shit. I just remember the technical.
I was watching it while... we couldn't do this last week, everyone, so we have to sort of double up on these episodes, the last two of the season today. So, yeah, I was watching them this morning while I was working, and I was realizing I was just listening to them, which does no good when it's
right.
like a creative baking show. So I had to like just scrub over to try to see if I could remember anything, and I don't. So it's okay, whether you watch it or not. We have no idea. So ultimately, what we are doing is reviewing each episode, of course. Each episode is broken up by 3 different challenges. We are in the semifinal this week. So, hey, Chris, how you doing, man? So the first challenge is the signature challenge. The second is a technical. The third is the showstopper. We only have 4 people left: Dan, Josh, Maddie, and Tasha. And
did we really have 4 people? Because I feel like we didn't.
Oh, no. Tasha did not show up at all.
Yeah.
For this. I mean, she was rough. I was going to like give them names based on how we've been referring to them. So Dan is the serial killer. Josh is the fake human, like the alien in human clothing. Maddie is just like, I want to punch his face. And Tasha is not actually deaf. So that's the truth about what's behind the Great British Baking Show. I had one comment on here that was like, oh, so you're like a Satanist who just reviews baking shows? Like pre-scripted baking shows? And I didn't reply at all, but I was just like, no, I'm a human with varied interests.
Right? There's a novel idea. We can be more than one thing.
Shock!
I know, gasp. It's like, I feel like people forget that. And it's even a part of the fucking tenets of the goddamn religion.
Yeah.
Like
to watch baking shows, that is.
Yeah. It's in the goddamn first book written.
It's in the bylaws.
It is. You got to look a little close, but it's in there. Like, I really feel like Anton LaVey was a big baking show fan.
Oh, he definitely would have been.
No, was.
Sure.
He got advanced copies.
Oh, yeah. Well, the devil does.
Because apparently this is fucking scripted.
That's true. Which is surprising to me when you see all the people eating shit. It's just scripted to lose. All right. So it's like fucking wrestling sometimes. So these signatures they had to make were financiers. And I know you're thinking like I'm thinking, not people dealing in finance. That's what I thought. They don't have to make babies.
It's little bitty cakes. Yeah,
they're basically like decorated Twinkies. Like, that's it.
Yeah, it's like, just call a fucking Twinkie a Twinkie, man. Like, it's you can't make a Twinkie fancy.
Yeah. Well, Dan certainly did, because that dude got a handshake.
That is true. I completely forgot about
Twinkie,
that.
Which blew my mind. And it wasn't because it looked good. It was because it tasted great. And that's one of the things that it's easy to get wrapped up in the visual presentation, texture, stuff like that when it comes to these baking shows. But sometimes if it's just good, then you're good. You don't have to fight your way through anything. Just make something delicious. Don't try to overextend yourself, and you'll probably get through the next round.
Right. And that's where he always falls short.
Yeah, seriously. I didn't think Dan's looked particularly nice. Josh's, I think, was the one with the like thin sheets of chocolate on top of him, which looked amazing to me. But I can't imagine how easy that would be to eat.
Yeah,
it's crumble off.
Yeah, it gets in your fucking mustache and all over your pants. It's annoying.
Yeah, and then you gotta bend over and put your mustache in your pants. Because you gotta get all the pieces.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
That's why I take yoga, so I can get my face in my pants. All right, so the Maddie's pick-me-up financiers, I don't no memory at all.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Tasha's fancy fruit and nut. I think, if memory serves, it looked great, but they didn't seem to be overly impressed with it.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be what happens with her.
It was very strange, too, because we've seen this sort of turn for Paul. Because ultimately, is it Paul? Paul Hollywood? Yeah. So he's like really supportive with Matt. He's like, I can't wait to taste that. That sounds amazing. That's great. And then we taste it, he's like, It's pretty good. All right.
Right.
Just moving
That's
on.
so disappointing.
I'll tell you what was really disappointing was the technical challenge with the tarte aux pommes.
God damn.
So-
Those were rough. I mean, Josh's, like, that was picture perfect.
He did great.
Like, that was just absolute perfection. They even said it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to everybody else.
It's strange because it's like they've never heard of blind baking, even though they blind baked them.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's like, it's a fucking tart. You have to do that. Any kind of shell, any kind of crust, like, just shy of like maybe like a graham cracker crust, you have to blind bake it for stability.
Well, it's really strange because they did blind bake. They had a layer of frangipan underneath, which would have absorbed or at least maintained whatever extraneous liquid in the apples might be coming through, but it didn't. It just like soggied up everyone, and then no one seemed to understand how to take it out of the tin. Like everyone's broke on the sides. Some of them didn't even bake long enough. You saw this drives me crazy. I don't know if you care at all, but when they bake them, when they blind bake them and then fill them up and they don't trim off the edges until way later.
Yeah, man.
Like, just get the edges off immediately.
It's so much easier when it's a fucking dough versus something that's hard.
It's so, and you're not going to have to deal with that cracking when you're like sawing the edges off. I mean, it's just
exactly.
Seemingly a clearly easy fix to prevent any real disasters.
Right.
But Tasha shit the bed at fourth. Maddie, I mean, he did pretty good. He got second. The only problem was that he had some cracking. Otherwise, I thought his looked really nice too.
Yeah, it looked floral like it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Like it looked like a rose.
Gosh, all of them looked so...
Tasha's did not.
Most of them looked pretty damn good too. Like, I really wanted to try this thing.
Yeah.
Just the way they put the apples together, some of them like Dan's, I was just like, what are you doing? That's weird. Like, just look over at what Josh is doing and emulate that.
Right? And it's fun. Oh, wait, no, that's the next episode. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny as hell.
So the showstopper was the Millie Fogli.
Yeah, you said that right.
No. It's the
French
Millie Fogli. It's
Goddamn French.
Yeah. We call it Freedom Fogli over here.
Fuck yeah, we do. None of them French fries or mealy fogly. Freedom.
I mean, it's really just like stacked cakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that
pretty much. That was the gist of it.
Is that the right one? Am I thinking of the 10th one?
No, that is the 10th one. Let's see. What
the hell is a Mealy Fogli?
Hold on.
I don't even remember. It was
Oh yeah, no, it was so it was the puff pastry. That's what it was.
Right,
oh yeah,
the
I
stacked
fucking remember
layered
that.
puff pastry.
Dude, and Tasha, man, like, I'll give her this. She had some fucking balls on her to do that shit backwards.
Yeah.
But
and she did the pastry, backwards, the most difficult way.
Yeah.
And she pulled it off.
Yeah, she pulled it off. But God, like, watching her just go through all the cycles of grief.
Yeah.
Like, there's no layers. It's not there. Oh God. Like, I was waiting for her to fucking walk out of the tent.
Yeah.
That shit was intense.
Oh man. So if Chris was owning this, he would coordinate with Amazon where you could buy whatever was made on this show the next day.
I mean, if they have a bakery fucking section on Amazon, I don't know about, and I probably should.
That's one of those things that my wife and I always sort of like are up in arms about is food waste. And if they're only trying slices, do they just save them all until the 10th week? Because there's no way they're going to stay good. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a pretty big crew putting everything together, so hopefully that's their craft services.
Yeah.
They don't get actual food; they just get fed treats.
They're not even paid. They're just like, here's some delicatessen.
Dude, I mean, I've been on sets for less, so it is what it is.
Good idea nonetheless, Chris. Get on it. Because I would love to try some of these for sure. I mean, again, Josh's looked beautiful. It looked professional. It looked like it came out of some fancy pastry chef's boutique in France. I mean, it was gorgeous.
Was this the one that Prue even said that looked like she could get it at a fucking French patisserie or whatever?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
The layers, the flaky, delicious looking layers were all there. The fruit looked amazing. All of his
I'm not
fillings.
a fan of blackcurrant, but I would have ate that shit. Like, that looked amazing.
Yeah. Dan's, I thought it had style over substance. You know, it was kind of cool looking because it was the guitar shape. Oh, that's the next show.
No, that was this one.
Oh, was it? So his chocolate was heavier than his cream, so it was pushing everything out, so it was oozing out of the sides. The
Yeah, and
guitar
then,
was cool looking, but
well, and it's a shame too because he did the mirror glaze
yeah,
so like it looked like an actual nitrocellulose finish on a guitar, but it was too gummy. It's like it's a bitch because you would have to have that thickness to make it look real, but obviously with the thickness you get basically chewing gum or like raunchy jello.
Gross.
Yeah.
Make it sound so good. Maddie's had good taste, but it wasn't really baked well with the layers. And so that was his downfall in this particular one. But Tasha, her mango mojito millefongre, I don't know how to say it. It was just, I thought it looked okay. It wasn't good. Like the pastry levels were good, but the inside of it, the actual important filling part.
It was all grainy and shit.
Yeah, she didn't
like
even...
mangoes are a motherfucker to work with. Like
they're fibrous.
It's all it is. So it's like if you're not like sifting that shit through a fine sieve, like you're probably gonna be chewing on sandpaper.
Yum.
At least it'll taste good.
Be delicious sandpaper.
Fuck yeah, it will.
We've all been there. So I mean, ultimately, no one did stellar. Josh did really well. He was really concerned because they started this episode going, so everyone else here has 2-star bakers. How many you got? He's all, 1. Today's the day. And it seemed like they were sort of either they lowered expectation on him or he just rose to the occasion and knocked it out of the park because these other people are good bakers. As much shit as we give them, they're very, very talented. They wouldn't be there otherwise. And he just is, which is why this next episode was such a shocker for me. This was just so consistently good. Even when he's not good, he's passable good, you know?
Yeah.
So,
He's, I mean, I pretty much said it from the beginning. He is like the middle of the road type of person where he's just skating through because he is good, but he's not great.
In the end of this episode, he makes a single comment about how proud he is having gone through and he's going to be in the finale because he's, of course, 1-star baker. And he was saying how his grandma would be there with him, but she can't because obviously she passed. Oh, dude, that shit hit me when he said that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, stupid scripted baking show. I'm a Satanist.
Scripted baking show.
I should be crying. It hit me in the feels. I love that everything he's been doing. He's been using his nan's recipes. He's been using ingredients from the garden, paying homage to her. And he just has this genuine love and care for her. And then they did those flashback moments of like, before she had passed and this sort of family talking about how close he was with her. And it showed those images of him like sort of cooking with her and stuff.
And then when his mom starts crying, fuck, dude, that got me.
Yeah.
It's just like, God damn you bastards. This is a cooking show. I'm not supposed to cry. I'm not supposed to feel anything other than tension.
Yeah, and that's really that's the normal thing is I'll feel like elation when someone gets like a handshake or they go through that I was sort of cheering for them. But other than that, it's always just like anxiety, which is weird because I've got enough in my own life. I don't know why.
I think that's why it's so cathartic is because it's stress but not ours.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, life could be so much worse. Like my world's crumbling around me. I'm struggling each day to wake up and find purpose. But this motherfucker dropped a layer of his cake, and that's way worse.
Right. Fair assessment. So we had mentioned that Josh won. Dan and Maddie are safe. They did well. And in fact, they were talking, sort of before they announced who won, that Dan and Josh were in the running for winning Star Baker. Which was surprising because Dan, he got the handshake at the beginning, but everything else was sort of like, meh, meh, meh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't really understand unless they're like sort of reflecting back on past episodes or.
See, that was kind of what I was thinking. Same with like the finale. Like I feel like a lot of the previous episodes played into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, well, whatever. We'll get into that next.
Yeah. So ultimately, Tasha was the one eliminated, and I thought she went out as well as anyone has ever gone out, maybe better. Just showing so much appreciation for being on the show and how special it is and what a wonderful opportunity it was for her to grow and how much it's like boosted her confidence. You know, in one of these really early episodes, she did have that moment where she was talking about how she needs to stop looking down on herself all the time because she clearly has some skill, and this helped bring that out. This is just a reinforcement of that, her sort of ending speech here. And I thought it was beautiful. And I actually, I hope that we get to see her again, because every once in a while they do those like holiday episodes where they have like old contestants come in and
man, I really hope we see her again.
Yeah, because I was really, really impressed with her. What an amazing twist in the show's finale when Grandma jumps out and hands him the trophy. She faked the death to inspire him.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Or the family just props her up Bernie's style. Weekend at Bernie's style.
Fuck yeah.
They like move her mouth. I'm so proud of you.
And then they go party on the beach.
It would be totally normal. All right. So did you have a favorite bake on this episode?
I mean, it of course it didn't turn out very well, but I loved the look of Dan's. And it was ambitious as hell because it was so much bigger than everybody else's.
Yeah.
Like, say what you will about him, he's got some balls on him.
Oh, for sure. He never mentioned who his favorite guitarist was. He just said that this is his favorite guitarist's guitar.
Yeah, what the fuck? Because that was the whole thing was, I'm making a guitar because I was supposed to be going to a concert right now because I didn't think I was going to make it this far.
Yeah.
And it's like, the whole time I was hoping, like, when are you going to tell us what show you're missing? Like, I want to know.
Yeah. I'm totally curious, because if it's something great, I'm going to have a little bit more esteem for him. And if it's something garbage, I'm going to feel the same way, actually. So.
Yeah. I mean, either way, he bought tickets. And it's so fucking funny that he had zero confidence in himself. But yet, there he was.
Yeah.
All the way to the finale.
Congratulations to him for doing that, though. It did look good. My favorite was Josh's showstopper. I just thought it looked so good, and my mouth was watering looking at it. Just like, I got to get my fist in that shit. Which is the same thing I say about beautiful women walking down the street. So,
yeah.
Tracks.
I mean, pastries, women, it's all the same thing. It's makes your hands sticky, makes you fat, and it's going to kill you early. So,
wow,
I can see
that's true. Huh. I never thought of it like that. All right. I have a new understanding. Did you have a least favorite bake of this episode?
Oh man, the technicals just Tasha's was so fucking awful.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard to look at because of especially in comparison to everybody else's. Like, it was just so fucking rough. Like, do you not know what thin slices are?
That's the worst part, is that you can't even bend a piece of apple unless it is really thin, you know? I mean, that's the whole point. And they're supposed to be curved around like a rose, you know, to the center. So I was just stunned with some of the methods of those people putting them together. I was just slack-jawed, like, are you an idiot? How can you? I've never made this, and I can make this better than you're doing it right now.
Right?
I would like to think it is.
It's like, do you not know what a rose is?
Or an apple, you fucktards.
Right.
All right, so anything else on this episode you want to talk about?
No, I think we got it covered. I mean, of course, we've already seen the finale, but like, my prediction was Josh. It was like, there's no way Josh isn't going to take the season.
Yeah. At the end of this episode, in this moment, I definitely think Josh is taking it home. He has to. Like, there's just no other way, no other choice. Everyone else sort of drops the ball too much. And I just don't think Maddie, personally, I don't think Maddie deserves it as of yet. Of course, 10 minutes from now, me is going to say something different. So,
yeah.
Understand that.
Or maybe not. Who knows?
All right. So, that's it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're joining live, thank you for joining in chat. Great always to see you, Chris. Anyone else you want to throw in your comments about what you thought about this particular episode, who you think is going to win? Did you have a favorite bake? Put them down in the comments after the fact. We appreciate your time and attention, of course. And as always, remember, that evil spelled backwards is live, so get out there and be evil.
And eat some fucking pastries.
And women.
Hell yeah.
Get sticky.
At the same time.
Now that's hot.
That's a fucking